Hey, what's going on, man? It's Jason Kepler here. I'm just hanging out at the hot tub here at the Capitol compound, getting some reading done, as I normally do. And this book right here, you've probably heard of it. If you haven't, it's one of the better books you're going to read on the planet. There's this other book I've heard called Higher Status that I've heard is like really good, but this one's really good too. It's called The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. And there's a lesson in here that I want to talk about with you today, something that Data talks about. And if you've ever been in a relationship or just been dating a girl, even casually, where things are going well, and then all of a sudden it's like she switches on you, something changes. Maybe she starts busting your balls and making fun of you, or she pulls back and she goes cold on you, and then when you do see her, she starts being a little bit more demanding. She starts trying to take control. Before, she was cool with you leading, but now she wants to tell you what to do, and she wants to decide where you guys are going and what you're going to do, and she starts trying to tell you what you should wear and what you shouldn't wear, and who you can talk to and who you can't talk to, and all these different things. And what is the root cause of all of that? How can you ensure that it doesn't happen? And if it is happening, how do you snap it back so it's back to the way it was when things were really vibing, when things were really happy? Because we all know when those type of things happen in a relationship, and I certainly know in my own relationships and the girls I've dated in my own life, where if they ever start doing that, there's an instant lessening of attraction between us. It goes from attraction and passionate and hot and exciting and fun to kind of dead and kind of friend-like, like just cooperative friends who are just kind of like don't like each other but like have to work next to each other in a cubicle. That's kind of what it feels like, and we don't want that, right? We want to have amazing relationships with whoever we're seeing or however we're doing it. So let's talk about that, okay? And the first thing I want to talk to you about here is the remote control. All right, now, if you've followed me for any amount of time, you know that I am very much against what you're going to see on TV. Not because like let's be honest, like they have really expensive cameras and great lighting and makeup artists and teleprompters and scripts, and they spend millions of dollars to put together they try their absolute best. They're trying so hard to entertain you and to hold your attention. They try so hard, and we have to commend them for how hard they try. They really like they need it. They try hard, and I commend them for that. But at the end of the day, all they're doing is programming most people to be in autopilot mode, to be passive, to be weak, to be followers, not leaders, slaves, not free men or free women. And if you follow my channel, if you follow me, if you do anything on Team Capital, then that's obviously not you. So I'm super against television, but this example I'm going to give you has everything to do with the remote control, right? So I want you to imagine this. Imagine you're in a relationship with this girl, and you guys are sleeping in the same bed, and before you go to sleep, you guys are watching something on TV. Just go with me. I know you probably are like, I don't watch TV ever. Okay, but just go with me here. Who's controlling the remote? Okay, who is deciding what's being watched? Volume up, volume down, channel change, different show, different movie, different thing on Netflix or Amazon or Hulu or whatever. Who controls the remote? Do you always control it? Does she always control it? Do you guys take turns and you're very cooperative that way? The reason I ask is because it's a really good litmus test to discover who has the masculine energy in the relationship and who has a more dominant side of feminine energy, who's more naturally masculine, who's more naturally feminine, okay? By the way, we all have both inside of us. We all have masculine sides and feminine sides, men and women, but we all have one side that we are more comfortable with, that it's our more natural side. About 90% of guys, they're more naturally masculine. About 90% of women, they're more naturally feminine. Unfortunately, with the way the culture has shifted in the last 40 years, women have been shamed for being feminine, right? All the other girls tell them, if you don't go to school and work hard and stand up to men and show them that you're better than them and you can do everything they can, then you're just a weak pussy. Well, if you tell those girls that, then they're going to be forced to think that they have to be masculine. And they might do it for so long that they even forget what their natural setting and state is, and that's what happened. And then the other side, you have all these guys who don't know how to deal with it, right? Because it's like, okay, so these women are trying to compete with me in the workplace. Well, then I got to compete with them. But when I do compete with them, then they yell at me, or I get a memo from HR for being too aggressive or some shit like that. So it's like you're paralyzed and you can't do anything. And eventually you just quiet down and you let people walk over you, and you do it for so long that eventually a lot of guys, they forget their natural setting. And it's got all kinds of fucked up, right? We've become a nation of just cooperative little friends instead of having that strong masculine and feminine polarity, that strong energy between the sexes. And it kind of sucks, right? It's not that way for everyone. About 99% of the population, there's about 1% of the population who are living life and it's wonderful out here. I can tell you that. And for a lot of the guys in Team Capital who are living life and taking action and betting on themselves, they're getting that too. So anyways, who controls the remote? The reason I say that is because masculine energy is very control focused. Okay, it's not like I have to control everything, but they're the one who's going to be decisive. They're the one who's going to make the decisions. They're the one who's going to chart the course of action, and they're going to lead first from the front. And feminine energy is going to follow them on their path, and it's not going to make decisions. It's going to enjoy the decisions that the masculine energy makes, and it's going to enjoy where it goes and enjoy following it, enjoy the colors and the sights and the sounds and the people and the smells, and it wants to take it all in. It wants to fill itself up with all of it. So, in a very plain setting, you decide what's being watched on TV, and feminine energy enjoys watching you be decisive, enjoys whatever is being on, because they're just more free in the moment. They're just happy to be in their feminine. That's kind of how it works, okay? Well, let's go back to that first example, right? Let's go back to the start where you're with a girl and things are going great and she's super feminine and you're super masculine. And then one day you guys are in the car and she tries to change the radio and she's never done that before. And she goes, and you're like, what are you doing? You change it back. And she's like, you always pick the radio. I want to choose today, right? And then she goes, I want to choose where we're going to dinner. You always choose where we're going to dinner, right? And she starts trying to make decisions, right? She's switching from feminine energy to a more masculine energy. That's what's happening here. So anytime where the girl starts trying to bust your balls or starts trying to make decisions that she didn't make before, starts trying to take control where she didn't take control before, that's the surefire sign. She's going from feminine energy to masculine energy. But why is she doing that? And how can you prevent it in the future so things can stay with that nice magnetic polarity, that nice attraction that happens naturally when you have a strong masculine force meeting with the strong feminine force? In that moment, if she switches from feminine to masculine, here's what she's saying to you. I don't trust you. That is all she's saying. She's saying, in this moment, I don't trust you. I'm not saying I don't trust you forever. I'm just saying right now, I feel like I don't trust you. And why would she be feeling that? Here's why. It's because you are not present in that moment with her. It's because you are somewhere else. You're thinking about something in the past. You're worried about something in the future. You're reliving a bad memory. You're reliving a good memory. Either way, you are in your head and you're not there with her, right? Women can sense when a man is present and when he is not. When he is present with her and he is open and he is free flowing and he is right there, she feels his masculine energy. And anytime he's not there, she knows he's not there. And when he's not there, that masculine force is gone. That sense of purpose and drive and ambition and safety that she loves to be filled up with is no longer present. And when it's gone, it freaks her out. And she goes, I don't know where it went, but if it's not here, then I need to step up and do something about it. I don't want to, but I need to step up and do something about it. And so she naturally, without thinking about it, switches from feminine to more masculine. Okay, so when you get this from a woman, you don't collapse, you don't get weak, you don't get offended, you don't take it personally, you don't bicker back, you don't argue back, you don't logic it. You thank it, you honor it. It's reminding you, it's a sign, it's saying, hey, come back, be here now, be present, bring your full force of masculinity back here. And when you do, you'll be amazed because all that ball busting or trying to take control, it just collapses back into its feminine energy. And then you're happier and she's happier, and the passion and the attraction and the magnetism is right there, and it's right there back for you, okay? So here's my final thing I want to get to you before I get out of here, because it's a beautiful day. Got the unicorns blowing back there. I don't know if you can see them. Just added a new unicorn. I'm very proud of my unicorn collection. Anyways, you know that your default setting, right? The state you wake up to and the state you go to sleep in, it's your natural setting. It's that kind of place where you stay all day. For people who aren't trained in it, their default setting is kind of shit, right? They're kind of like just autopilot all day long. They're not conscious, they're not present, they're not deliberate, they're not purposeful. They just zone out. They zone out at work. They zone out when they watch TV. They zone out at the gym. It's like those guys you see at the gym when they're working out and they're not like getting from each rep. Instead, they're just racing through the rep trying to get done with it. They're not present. They're not. They're just zoned out. They meet a girl, they're still in their head. They can't talk. They're like, what do I say? I don't know what to say. They think they should kiss her, and the moment clearly is they should kiss her, and they don't. Right? Or they go for a sale and they know it's time to close, but they're in their head, so they think about it for 5 minutes too long, and then when they do it, the moment's passed and it's weird and they don't get the sale and they miss out on that, and they end up missing out on every great thing in life. Because how do you train your default setting? Okay, the state you're in most often becomes your default setting. So how you do one thing is how you do everything, meaning this is something you need to be practicing all the time. You need to be practicing being fully present, fully open. Just being present, but like passive isn't good enough. You need to be present, and you need to be in motion. You need to be taking action. You need to be present and taking action. You need to be present and open. You need to be present and free flowing. On your path, going. Something goes your way, great, boosts you up. Something doesn't go your way, great, new lesson, new strategy, adapt, keep going. Okay, that's the state that you got to be in. I call it the difference between being on automatic pilot versus being the one flying at the front of the plane, always flying your own plane, always being right there, conscious leading, right? You don't want to go into autopilot. You want to be right there all the time, flying your own plane, not only because it's so attractive, not only because it's so powerful, not only because it opens up all the channels and you grow faster than you ever thought possible, but also because you're doing it all the time. You're training it to become your default setting, and soon you don't have to think about getting there or being there, but it is you are there. There is you. You are just, that's you. You're being there. That's your being. And at that point, women won't get masculine on you at any point, because the masculine force, your masculine force, is always present right there, and there's no reason for them to. So I hope that clears up a lot of stuff for you in terms of relationships and just relating with women. I know learning those lessons years ago for me were just so powerful, and I know how great life can be once you really take it in and internalize these lessons and really take them with you wherever you go. So I hope you got some value out of that. My name is Jason Capital. Peace.